from the fear? You try to understand. This is very basic. This is very important. Because the very fear and the authority, they are not different. You follow? Suppose I have fear of failure. For fear of failure in the exam. Suppose. Or maybe fear of failure, or maybe losing of my losing of bank account. That fear is there. So that fear, immediately what happens? The mind says, I'll do this, I'll do that, so I'll stop that way. But this authority which says that I will do something about it, is it different from the thoughts about the fact of fear? But that's it. That is where the thought plays a tricks upon oneself. That dividing, that division, because that authority, that entity that says I'll do something about it, is not different from the fear. That is one and the same. You follow what I am trying to say? That fear and the entity that says I'll do something about it is one and the same. So, but most of us human beings don't see that truth of that, understand that. So he tries to do something about it, and that gap is always widened. That division goes on increasing, and the fear becomes more and more intense, more and more stronger. Because basically your action in that case becomes out of fear. So every movement on the part of that entity that says I'll do something about it, the fear becomes stronger and stronger. Because one has to also understand the thought itself is dual, conflict. Duality means positive and negative, it is conflict. Thought itself is conflict. So that thought's division, when you with that division, when you try to do something about it, that always ever it widens. That is why life becomes a series of solving problems. One problem solved, another problem comes up, and that is solved, and another problem, there is no ending to that. And one's life is spent in solving problems only. So in which case what happens? Man has not lived life only. Tension, stress, anxiety, all these are inherent in tackling all these problems. There is the problem of fear as well. So I repeat, the basic one has to understand that entity that says I'll do something about it, about the problem. It is not different from the problem. It is not different from the fear. It is one and the same thing. So, for example, say, I am violent. I'll give an example, I am violent. So violent is socially not accepted, violence. So I want to get rid of violence. Right? So in that, what happens in getting one part comes out of it, that is a division, and that part says I'll do something about violence. I'll suppress it, I'll control it, I'll do this, I'll do that. But actually one has to understand that the part that is saying that I'll do something about it is not different from the violence. That is where the trick of thought plays on oneself. I repeat it. That is why you see all throughout life in a human being, that violence which is expressed as anger, which is expressed as hatred, which is expressed as fear, which is expressed as jealousy, throughout his whole life this thing continues. This emotion continues. So one has to see that truth, that one is not different from the problem. If one sees this, then something happens. Then one understands, one sees the fact that I cannot do anything about it. I cannot do anything about it. That is useless. On the other hand, it complicates. It compounds. That negative energy is complicated. It made stronger, more intense. This is not, I cannot do anything about it. One who understands and sees this fact of this truth of this. It is not a passive state. One must not think this understanding is the highest form of energy. Highest form of energy. And if one sees that, one ceases to do something about it and he remains with fear. He remains with the fact of fear. And then something happens. If one is with it, is there fear? Because all movement of thoughts had stopped. One has tried all sorts of remedy, has failed. To that extent, one mind has become vacant. Mind has become free. What is the state of the mind? That mind. It has become a very sensitive mind, very open mind, very clear mind. He can look directly, straight, without thought interference. And that is when something happens. If one remains with the fact, one seeing the truth of this ceases to do something about it, then there is transformation. That is why you will see, because most of us human beings don't see that truth, this division in every relationship continues. We don't see that you and me are not different. I divide you, that is me, in thoughts, divide. And that division always is not direct. It is always in thoughts. It is on the basis of image that is formed from the past experience accumulation. So as a result, our relationships are based on past experiences, are based on images that we have accumulated. So there is no relationship directly with the human being. I don't have a direct relationship with you. I have formed image about you and you have formed image about me. So the relationship between you and me is between the images, not between you and me as human being. Now in the modern world, in the present world, explosion of knowledge. In fact, knowledge is the enemy of man. Is ever dividing, moving, shifting away from each other, more and more. Materially they have given a lot of things, but in relationship, that touch is no more existing. It is more and more, it has become a very rare thing. That touch is not there. because our relationship on images, it is increasing. Day by day is it increasing. And when there is no direct relationship